All right, class. Well, it's a new week in our Teaching and Learning with Digital Technology class. And this week's focus, well, it's not finals week yet. It's on project-based learning and copyright. And so you're going to be learning a little bit more about copyright, as you've read quite a bit about it last week, and open licensing, as well as some of those things. Understanding open licensing is important for copyright. And then there are some different copyright rules and copyright resources that you'll take a look at in order to complete the discussion board for this week, which is a copyright poster. So you are going to create a poster and post this on the discussion board for this week. And this poster will inform your audience about copyright and/or fair use for their specific situation. And you can choose one of many different audiences, including K-12 school teachers, students in a high school digital media class, students in a basic elementary classroom, students in a middle school digital media class, students of any age working on a written paper with references, or business e-learning department personnel. Your job is to pick one of those audiences and then create a poster that informs them about what they can and cannot do with certain resources on the internet according to copyright law. And there are some tools listed there for creating that poster, and then you're going to post on the discussion board when you've completed it and make sure that others can view it. And then you can respond to other students' posters as well to kind of look at what people create. Finally, for this week, you'll do some project-based learning reading. You'll read a little bit to get prepared for an assignment that is upcoming. It will teach you about the 9 elements of project-based learning and how those might be included in a project later. So that's what's going on for this week as far as activities are concerned. But there are some things that we need to talk about because the end of the semester is near, and May 1st through the 6th is our finals week. And so some of the things that you're going to be doing include preparing for this cooperative communication project. So I wanted to introduce that. There are 2 parts to this project, and those who've taken my basic undergraduate educational technology and distance teaching class know about a similar project like this. The first part is to create a video or recorded presentation of approximately 3 to 6 minutes in length that teaches a concept or skill, and that you don't include any copyright protected content in that video because you're going to be sharing it with me online and so forth. So that's the first part, is to create that. And then the second part is to create a project plan that you as a teacher could follow, in which students are required to find, evaluate, and use information about a subject, then create a video or recorded presentation to communicate their knowledge. So you're going to create a video, and then you're going to create a project plan in which your students would be planning on creating a video. But this project plan does not need to be implemented in any classroom, okay? So it's not something that's requiring me to have you, or requiring you to go and implement it in your classroom. You just make a plan of how you would do it in a classroom, and it includes, or it should include, the following elements: a lesson title and summary, a list of content standards and objectives, a description of the learners, including grade and subject, a list of materials and technologies used by the teacher and students, and then all of the 9 project-based learning elements with a detailed description of how each is included in this lesson plan or in this project plan. So how will you do an anchor? What is the task? What are the directions? What are the student choices? And so forth for all those 9 elements. So this week you're starting to learn about the project-based learning elements. You've been learning about copyright, and you'll continue to learn later on about how to create that video or recorded presentation that you're required to create, so that when you're done, you'll submit this with a lesson plan or a project plan, and you'll also submit a 3 to 6 minute video to give that teaches a concept or skill. And that's a video or recorded presentation of some kind. And then there's a rubric below showing how to complete that, or what the elements that I will be looking for are. But as a reminder, also under May 1st through the 6th, and everything for this class is due on May 6th. So if there's any work that you're missing or that you need to get in, you need to make sure that it's in by that day. There is the intentional tech talk and integration recipe that you signed up for, And remember, that was sign up. There's a sign up sheet under January 9th through the 14th. And if you click on this first item there on January 9th through the 14th, you can find when you signed up for that. Many of you, if not most of you, have completed that already and have a grade for that. But that does need to be done by the end of the semester, obviously. And then there is the constructive makerspace assignment, the makerspace reflection that is due as well. And we don't have a lot of you have finishing that yet. So we need that to be done as well. Remember, that is the part where you actually implement a makerspace somewhere. So you create, well, the first part of it was an information sheet that was due long ago, and most of you finished that. And the second part is what's required for this one, is to organize a makerspace experience and then reflect upon the experience in writing. So don't forget about that. Now, again, I remember a long time ago I told many of you that if you do not have an opportunity to implement a makerspace if you don't have a situation to be a part of that, to let me know, and I can help you. And I have helped students to get connected with other students who are doing makerspaces, but most of those are done now. There is one opportunity still to come, and that's an April 27th event happening here at Northern State University. So if you'd like to be a part of that, I believe that's still an option to come here and be a part of that day. But you need to make sure that you get that done, that you are part of a makerspace and that you can reflect upon the experience of constructive learning happening during that makerspace. So don't forget, if you have done a makerspace already and just forgot to submit the reflection, go ahead and submit that reflection anytime. So that's something to be aware of too, and that's due on May 6th as well as we move forward in the class. Okay, finally, I just want to take a look at copyright and what does it all boil down to? And that's what I've got on this slide, and the next one here is some copyright tips, I guess, and ideas. You've been reading a little bit about fair use, and you'll read more about copyright in the classroom for student projects and so forth, but I want to kind of boil it down for you to make it a little bit easier to understand as a nice organizer. And especially for teachers, this is for teachers or students in media classrooms, what I'll be talking about. So first off, for using media in the classroom, it is okay to show media as long as you obtained it legally and are using it for educational purposes. So that's a little bit different than a lot of teachers do, right? They might go to the classroom and say, well, we have an indoor recess today, so we're just going to watch this movie, The Little Mermaid. Well, that's not going to work very well because it's not for an educational purpose, it's just to entertain the students while they're indoor for recess. So be aware of that. You want to have a purpose, an educational purpose for it in order for you to be fair use compliant as a teacher. The next one is that it is okay to show something for more than once or every year. So if you have a DVD that you want to show to students, let's say an example is you're teaching about the Civil War, and you bought the DVD of the movie Glory, which teaches about Civil War concepts and ideas, and you want to show that to your class. You can do that once, more than once, or every year, because, again, there is an educational purpose to it. You're teaching about the Civil War in a social studies class. And it's also okay to stream media. So any media, basically, that you find on the web, you can stream that. And as long as you can access that in your classroom and show it, then that's okay, because it's up to the website where you found it. It's their responsibility to make sure that they are in compliance of copyright laws and rules. So streaming media is okay. Now what's not okay, and you probably know some of these, it's not okay to make copies and distribute those to students of media or creative works that have been created by someone else. It's not okay to post these on your website unless you're just linking to, again, a streaming media site. Let's say you want to link to a YouTube video that's online. Then you can do that, but to post it actually on your website, to upload it to your website and post it there would not be right. And then use media that is not related to an educational purpose. Again, the example of having an indoor recess applies there. So you don't want to do those things. Another thing to know about with media is that if you have students creating media projects, these are some okay and not okay things to do. For instance, it's okay for students to use small portions of copyrighted works in projects, and one of the authors that you read mentioned motion media Up to 10% of that motion media, or 3 minutes, whichever is less. Maybe music, lyrics, and video up to 10%, but no more than 30 seconds. Illustrations and photos, it's unclear, but no more than 5 photos from a single author. That one's apparently an unclear area. It's okay for them to perform or show their work in class, of course, because they might have work that incorporates other copyrighted materials. And it's okay for students to keep a portfolio of work to show later as they graduate, maybe from high school, to show that as to a potential employer. What's not okay is to post a project online that includes copyrighted work. So a student may have created this great video and they want to post it online, but it does include those copyrighted works. That's not going to fly very well. And in fact, YouTube does do some policing and monitoring, as well as companies who create the copyrighted works do that. And so you could possibly get a nasty email from YouTube saying, take that down, and you could get even blocked. Or forgetting to cite sources for all media. And this is a good mode for students to be in, or a habit for students to have, to cite all the media that they have, that they use the sources from, making sure that they are properly citing and giving credit where credit is due to previous authors who've created creative works or media that they have used or incorporated into their video. So that's somewhat of the information that you are reading about and learning about as far as copyright goes and how it relates to things. Now, one of the things that you're going to learn about too is this open licensing idea, where people have released their media in an open licensed manner, and that allows you to actually use that media in many more ways than does the copyright law allow you to. So that's one thing you'll be looking at today, and you'll be also learning about creating your own copyright poster. So that's about it for this week. So have a good week and enjoy, and hopefully the weather improves a little bit. It's a little cold now, so hopefully that improves. Talk to you later.